What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. It's your host for this United Youth Movement podcast, founder and CEO of the United Youth Movement, Tony G, coming to you guys with a really special guest today. Somebody I've known for a long time. Very proud of this young man. I'm just going to get into it, let him introduce himself. Go ahead, my dude.
So my name's Alex Knoll. I am owner of AOH Fitness Apparel. For me, the biggest thing was kind of just learning how to adapt and all that good stuff. So for me, I just like making changes, making people feel happy about with what they have, making sure everybody's all good. And that's about it, really.
That's what's up, man. I'm going to give a little background on Alex, man. When do you think, how old were you when we met first time?
I want to say second grade,
yeah,
first
right?
grade, around that time, yeah.
Yeah, so you are 1 year older than V, right?
Yeah, so I'll be 21 in January.
You'll be 21 in January, but you were class of 19.
Yeah.
So V was 2020. But I've known Alex since he was, like he said, second grade. Awesome young man. I can remember him coming over here all the time, spending a lot of time with us, man. It was cool young cat. Comes from an awesome family. And it's just crazy to see you where you're at right now, man. Hell of an athlete. You played baseball, youth baseball. You didn't play football, did you, or did you?
That was actually the first sport that you coached me in.
Football.
That's how we ended
That
up.
is, huh?
That's
Okay.
how you ended up meeting me. Was from that. Vicente and I ended up going to Seven Oaks when I transferred over there. I want to say third grade when I moved schools. And then played basketball, baseball, football. I stopped playing football around 7th, 8th grade frame.
That's right.
In the TCYFL,
Yeah.
the Hawks ended up not having a team. And so I just thought it was better for me to pursue basketball and baseball, both. Played both of them in high school, 4-lettered in majority of them.
Yeah. I remember you watching you in high school, man. You freaking hell of an athlete, dude. In basketball, you were a great basketball player, but baseball was your love.
Yeah,
Is your love.
Yeah, baseball is definitely my love. It's been something that, it was just, when I was a little kid, my mom was out there with me when I was like 2 years old, swinging the big old wiffle ball bat.
Yep.
Could barely even swing it. She was out there throwing me tennis balls and stuff from then, and then it was just a wrap from there. Just kept going.
And I remember you played select ball too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going out there and watching you. I can't remember, the Aces or something like that.
Yeah, that was when I was 16.
Yep.
Played for them. So pretty much I played select all throughout, I want to say since I was like 9, 10 years old.
Right.
All the way up until after my senior year of high school, because 18U goes all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
And then basketball wise, I ended up playing AAU, which is like select baseball,
Right.
but in basketball form. Did that since I was in about the 3rd grade, and then all the way up until I want to say like my senior year around that time, because at that time it was kind of where I started pulling in all the offers for baseball, and then I was kind of like, all right, you know what, basketball may not be the thing anymore.
Right.
So kind of hit the little transition into the fact of coming to like a realization that baseball is going to be my way out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you were a hell of a baseball player, man. Really great. So, yeah. So you went to high school, played ball for River Ridge High School. Mm-hmm. You went to Timberline too for a minute.
Yeah, I went to Timberline my sophomore year.
Okay. Did you play ball over there?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Then came back to River Ridge, graduated from River Ridge, and then tell us about what happened after high school, man, because I just find it, I mean, I know your story.
Yeah.
I want you to share your story if you want to. This isn't an interview, man. It's just a conversation.
Yeah. No, for sure,
so
sure.
if you want whatever you want to say it. But I love your story, man. Being, somebody that coached you as a kid and just seeing you grow into a man that you are. Your mom would text me. She would, keep me updated on stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'd check in on you every once in a while. You'd check in on me every once in a while, which I appreciated. But talk about the journey, man, after high school and where you went as far as, collegiately and that aspect of it.
Okay. So pretty much ended up getting my first offer was the summer going into my senior year. That was from Centralia Community College. The head coach that was there at the time was somebody that was an assistant coach at the University of West Virginia. And so with me, my biggest thing was getting to play the highest level of baseball that I could play at. And he had the connections for me to get to where I wanted to be. And then a couple months down the road, I find out that he ends up going to he gets like a hitting contract or something like that in the major leagues with the Texas Rangers. And so that he left, it made me feel like where I wanted to be, I wasn't going to get where I was going to be with the other coaches that were there because I felt like they didn't have the right connections. And so I pretty much tried decommitting. They wouldn't let me. So then they had a pitching coach at the time. He ended up going to Central like super late. And so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to follow him there, go to Central, because my biggest thing for me was pitching. Ended up going there, didn't really work out. So then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to, just take the gap year train and just get bigger, faster, stronger. And then during that time, that was really when it made me come to like the realization that it's really literally like your life that you put everything into when it comes to a sport, regardless if it's high school, collegiate. You just have to treat it that way, or else you won't get the results that you want out of it. So when I came back during my gap year, I was actually working at Discount Tire Monday through Saturday, about 5-6 hour shifts. And then right after that, I would end up going to Timberline because their field was always open and I knew the coach there. So I would go in there and I would hit off the tee for countless hours before that. And then right after that, I would end up moving to go get my lifts in. So I would go get like a quick snack or something. I was working at LA Fitness at the time. So I'd either go get like a little smoothie that had like 40 grams of protein in it just so it could fuel my body, or I would just go to Domino's and go get like a little pizza or something because it's only like $5.
Right. Get them carbs.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'd eat all that and then go lift. And then after that, it'd be around like 6:30. I go back to the field and do all my throwing program stuff and end up working out into like long toss and then doing some agility stuff that I do. So like all the ladder drills, ended up using a parachute for sprints, all that good stuff. So realistically, I was probably spending about, I want to say 6 hours every single day just training. Weekends were more because I didn't work on the weekends, so I could get more time in. The only thing that kind of sucks about the baseball aspect is that if you're doing it all by yourself, it's a lot harder to do it by yourself. Like, for instance, I couldn't like get myself like live at bats.
Sure.
Or have like a pitching machine because nobody's there to feed it.
Right.
So majority of my work was just off of the tee and focusing a lot more on fundamentals. I mean, every now and then I get somebody out there, but I don't know. Just for me, I just love the grind. And then so after that, ended up picking up an opportunity to go play at Division I in North Carolina called the University of Gardner-Webb. Went there, played through the fall, and it just, for me, it wasn't really a good fit for me on where I wanted to go. And a lot of people think that, Division I is really the route that you want to go. If I could go back, honestly, I would have went somewhere else. Not even just the fact because of the program or anything. It was just, for me, I came in as a pitcher and I wanted to be a two-way guy and found out that I could actually two-way at the next level instead of just in high school. So I went through that, and I was mainly playing shortstop over there, getting a little bit of innings on the mound, and then they kind of told me, well, we want you to transition just into a pitcher for the rest of the season. We don't want you to play any infield or outfield. And so for me, once I found out that I could two-way, I was like, you know what, maybe I should just go somewhere else and go two-way, play as long as I can. So I ended up hitting the transfer portal out of there. I hit the transfer portal about like noon, took a nap because, just being a college athlete, you're always tired and stuff.
Sure, yeah. Putting in that work.
Woke up, 20 missed phone calls.
20?
Yeah.
Man.
So
I believe it.
You had your NAIAs, your Division IIIs, Division IIs, and a lot of JUCOs. I ended up having like 20 to 22 offers out of the transfer portal. Thought that Green River Community College is going to be my best bet because they told me that they're going to pay for 2 of my quarters, and you have 3 quarters at the in the NWAC, which is the junior colleges in Washington, Oregon, and I think there's one in Idaho. I'm not for sure.
And it's close to home.
Yeah, exactly. So I was about an hour away from home. Went there, and then it just wasn't a good fit for me. The coach and I just kind of bashed heads. I really think that it was the fact that since I was coming from a Division I program, he thought that I was going to be, you know, like the greatest guy like in the world to ever touch campus at Green River. And it just wasn't the case. Ended up getting moved to the outfield, played the outfield. I had no problem with that because I've always been like fast guy, quick speed. And then that was about it for that. Ended up playing semi-pro this last summer. Developed a tilted kneecap because I wasn't stretching and stuff. Because in the semi-pros, you play a lot of games. It's like I was playing probably like 4 games a week, and then on top of that, I was still working out throughout all of those times. So it's like I was really like invested into it. And then for me, it was just after that, I was kind of like I really sat there and thought about it, and I was like, do I really have what it takes to go to the next level? And it's like maybe I do, maybe I don't. You just never know. But at least I could sit there and tell people that I played at pretty much every single division and every single level, so I know what it takes to get there. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not hanging it up yet, though. I will say that.
No, I mean, man, you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and you got, unfortunately, you're dealing with a bad knee.
Mm-hmm.
But man, and see, that's awesome. So, you know, I played baseball. I was a pretty good baseball player in high school. I ended up having a kid at 17, so that kind of, you know, squashed all that. But just seeing and hearing where you were going, man, it was like exciting to me. Like, where's he going next? You know, I didn't know about the Green River Community College though. Too bad that didn't pan out for you. But you know what? Some things just aren't meant to be, man.
Exactly.
And you got to go with what you feel and what your gut feeling is, you know?
Exactly.
Tell me a little more about the semi-pro baseball, because I don't know nothing about that circuit. Like, how does that work? There's local teams or?
So semi-pro in the state of Washington, there's 2 different leagues. There's one with, I forget their name. It's the something Apple Sox, and I think I forget what league that's called, but there's that. And then there's the PIL, which is the Pacific International League. That's what I was playing in.
Okay.
A lot of those guys are going to be collegiate guys. And then there's a handful of guys that were playing professional ball. And because of the whole COVID thing that happened, a lot of them ended up losing their jobs. And so a lot of those guys ended up losing their jobs, were majority pitchers, and they needed places to go pitch. And so the PIL ended up picking them up, and so I faced a lot of like old pro guys, guys that ended up just losing their contract. There was one guy, I forget his name, but he was at a Division III in Oregon, and ended up being a grad transfer to the University of Utah.
Wow.
And so him and I ended up making a pretty good connection because we played him about 4 or 5 times during the year, and he was like, you know, if you ever need anything, just let me know. And like if you want to go places, and the school that he was at before ended up I don't think they even have a shortstop anymore. Well, I mean they do, but not somebody to that high of a caliber. And so he was like, dude, if you want to go play there, literally all I gotta do is just make a text, make a call, and I could get you opportunity there. The only thing is that Division III baseball, they can't give out any scholarships, so it's all academics.
Right.
And I screwed up a lot with that through high school. I really wasn't one that took a lot of time into work and stuff. So like my grade point average wasn't as high as what it really could have been. Cause I slacked off. I was more worried about getting all these offers and stuff. I had the bare minimum that you could get to play Division I baseball. So they rank it up by GPA and then your SAT or ACT score. And so I think I had like a 2.7, 2.8 GPA in high school, and had like, I think it was like a 980 SAT. So it was kind of like I had the exact like bare minimum like requirements to play at the highest level.
But you know, you're a high school student, and honestly, dude, you're not alone when kids are out there they're going to school and there's so many distractions. You know how I was in high school, man.
Yeah.
Everything can be a distraction, and really you don't take school that serious. A lot of people really don't. If it doesn't come super easy to you, then yeah, man, it's difficult. You know, I was the same way in high school.
Yeah.
So I mean, you weren't alone there, but you were able, like you said, have the GPA, just the bare minimum, but that's all it takes to get you in. So
Exactly.
you went farther than a lot of other people,
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
I mean, you went all the way to the East Coast, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's just amazing, awesome, and I love it.
It was nice. I loved it out there. Eventually, I probably want to move back out there just because one, it's cheap, and two, it's so much nicer to go somewhere where it's like always sunny, never really rains.
Yep.
As to where, you live in Washington, rains like 90, 80% of the time.
So it's just hard to play baseball outside.
Yeah, yeah.
How did being away from your mom? So I know you and your mom are really tight. How was it being? I mean, that's all the way across the country, man. Like, how did that feel? For you being young too, 18 years old when you bounced out of here. How did you deal with that?
Honestly, it really wasn't that bad. First 2 weeks, I know for a fact were kind of bad. I was always calling her, telling her like, "How are you doing? Like, how's the family doing? This and that, whatever the case may be." Just all that good stuff. Just trying to make sure that she's always taken care of, because that was like my biggest thing was, as long as I knew that she was like well taken care of and everything was good at home, that's really all I cared about for myself. My mom and I were super close. She's always been there with me since I was little. My parents ended up getting divorced like when I was, I think, like 5, 6 years old. So it was like realistically all that I had was my mom, my brother growing up. So to be able to go somewhere else and not be able to have those two people that you used to rely on, and then being like that far away, it was hard at first. But I will say, once you start getting familiar with the area and you start meeting new friends and all that kind of stuff, all the temptations to kind of just call home and then like start crying, all this good stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It starts to go away. I made great connections with the people over there. I still talk to about like 3 or 4 of them every single day now. So, I mean,
and now too, you got like FaceTime, and so you can actually see your mom when you talk to her.
Yeah.
I know when our daughter went to Wazoo for school, man, and it was really hard on me because we're a tight family, man, and she went to school, and I mean, if it wasn't for FaceTime and being able just to see her and chat with her anytime we wanted to, it would have been a lot harder for sure.
Plus, it's like your baby too, because that's like
my only girl,
exactly,
and
exactly. And it was your first one too, so the connections you make with your first kid are gonna be a lot higher and a lot bigger than the connections with the rest of them. And a lot of people don't know that, but it always goes the oldest one and then the youngest one. The youngest one gets everything easy. The oldest one always gets it the hardest.
Exactly.
Because
you're right.
they got to go through everything, and then being that little younger sibling, younger sibling can learn from that person's mistakes too. Because that's what happened to me. I learned a lot from my brother's mistakes.
Right. You knew what to do and what not to do, and what you could get away with, what you
Exactly.
couldn't. Yeah, man. It's I'm the middle child in my with my siblings, and you're right, man. My older sister got it more than any of us, and then I was the only boy, so I pretty much got away with anything. Was really tight with my mom, and then my little sister, man, she just never did nothing wrong, never got in trouble.
Exactly. That's how it is with my little sister right now. She'll never get in trouble. But I mean, she's not really the same like my brother and I were, because my brother and I were always into sports, always playing, always out and about. And now it's like with technology now, all these little kids, bro, they just stay in the house, play on the Xboxes, the computer, just all that stuff. And it's like, when I was their age, I was outside running around. Mom would tell me to come inside once it got dark outside, or once the street light came on.
Right, yeah.
You had to be inside, or else you were getting in trouble. But now it's just like the way how technology is, it's crazy. Cause
they don't go out and get dirty. Man, when I was a kid, we didn't have I think Nintendo just came out, man, and we couldn't afford that. So
yeah.
I was out playing around, man, getting dirty and riding bikes and jumping off ramps and skateboarding and stuff like that, man, but yeah, now it's hard. So I don't know if you heard about the summer mentorship program that we just had this past summer, but we got granted some funds and was able to implement the summer program, mentoring program. And that was the point, was to get kids, youth or young people out of their house, away from the computers, away from their, electronical devices and cell phones and all that stuff. So it was pretty it went well, man. And the youth that we talked to after, they were so thankful. Like, man, it feels so good to get out of my house.
Exactly.
Also with the pandemic stuff, everybody's staying in anyway. There's really not a lot of outdoor stuff. Now it's getting better, but most of the youth that we were working with and young people were from 14 to 22. But yeah, man, it was just important to get out and get away from the computer, you know, put your phone down, enjoy the weather, you know what I'm saying? Like the greenery, just to get out. It's good for your mental health as well.
Exactly. The biggest thing about that too is that 14 to 21 age, that's when a lot of people, not saying that they're forced to go into something, but a lot of them will either pick one side or the other. There's no in between. And with the way how everything is now, it's just, I see more kids getting in trouble than kids like not getting in trouble and staying out of it. So it's kind of like, if there's a way how you could like mentor and talk to all these kids and tell them where you went wrong to help them in the long run, so then they're like, okay, you know what, this person did this, so now I have learned from that, so when I get into that situation, I know how to handle it properly. I didn't really have that much when I was growing up, so it was more you live and you learn, and you have to sit there and deal with the consequences. But like with having that, it sucks, but you learn a lot more at a younger age. And so for me, like maturity wise, when I talk to a lot of people, they think I'm a lot older than I really am. Like for instance, I work at Pro Image in the mall. My manager thought I was like 25, 26, just from the way how I talk and the way how
You carry
myself.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could see that definitely. If I didn't know you, I mean, still right now, when I saw you, I haven't seen you in a couple of years.
Yeah.
You look like a grown man, dude. I mean, you're a lot taller. You know what I'm saying? You've lived a little bit of life. You left the state.
Mm-hmm.
You're a different cat, man, than when I saw when you were in high school.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you've always had a higher maturity level than your peers.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. And like you said, your life experiences, you know, had you adapt that way and be that way, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, it's just crazy how life goes, and it's it just flies, man. You know.
No, it does for sure.
It does, and I'm glad you're back home, man. I'm glad you're back here, and I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about next, and that is, you know, you hit me up, and which was great. I'd love to hear from you. But what really excited me is that, and this is what I've been doing with the United Youth Movement, is reaching out to young men, young women, the youth, young adults, out in the community. That luckily I have a lot of you that I know, because I coached youth football for 13 years, coached youth baseball for 13 years.
Yeah.
To have 3 kids that went through, you know, the school system here. So I have a lot of people like you and your age and older, that I was able to be a part of their lives, and not necessarily as a mentor, but a coach.
Yeah.
You know, you were friends with my son, so we had that connection. And so seeing you where you're at right now, it's just, this is what I love doing with this nonprofit.
Exactly.
Because this is why, one of the main reasons why I started it was to provide that extra little help that you need right now, which is networking, mentorship, right?
Exactly.
Because we went through it. I did it. But now you're becoming at an age where, okay, you're looking at the future a little bit more seriously, right? Well, it's always serious, but now your baseball thing, maybe not be, you know, the avenue that you're going.
Exactly.
So now you're looking at a different avenue, different pathway, perhaps. And I'm here for you, man. We are here for you. United Youth Movement. The term youth is in there because I want to start targeting high schoolers, right? Like freshmen, 14 through, 18. But we also add young adults in there because we want to work with 18 to 22.
Exactly.
Right. And the word movement the word movement, man, scares a lot of people. They think about, oh man, this is like, a movement.
It's like they feel like you're gonna have to be forced into doing the movement, but not even just that. They really take it as a lot of people will sit there and be like, well, what if I don't want to do this, or what if I don't want to do that? But a lot of people won't take the time to understand where like you're coming from, because you have this nonprofit organization that you're running. They won't take the time to look into it and actually understand why you're doing the things that you are. Kind of something to elaborate on that was like, for instance, like the whole Colin Kaepernick thing.
Yes.
I just watched that whole series on Netflix.
The great series, by the way.
And just with that, not like, I mean, it's a good series and everything, but when he started taking the knee, a lot of people were getting super upset about it. And it's like majority of those people.
That word movement was in there. That term movement was in there, right?
Exactly. And it's like those people that were mad weren't even people that, like, majority of them weren't people that served the country.
Right.
But the majority of the people that were on his side were people that served the country.
Exactly.
Because they sat there and took the time to understand where he was coming from, watching multiple interviews on why he was doing the things that he was. And the biggest thing to that was for the Black Lives Matter movement, because that's when everything started to happen, and then it just continued to progress and progress.
Right.
With the whole Black Lives Matter movement, there is a lot of things, like when they would go on their peaceful movements and they would go march around and stuff, it was
which the movement is that.
Exactly. But people were turning it into something, oh my bad, people were turning it into something else than what it really was. And I really feel like those movements, and when they went out and did it, I feel like on some of those, it was the police that started the riot. And then so it's just kind of like, you sit there, you live, you learn. But at the same time, if you do your research on things, it'll give you a full understanding instead of you just looking at it one way, or just being able to have a civil conversation with somebody else about, what's going on in this world, because there's always something going on in this world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and the reason why I chose that word movement is because, to me, this organization, it's, I could have named it United Youth Project, United Youth Togetherness, or but to me the word movement is so strong, and for this particular organization, it's not a project.
Exactly.
It's not an assignment. It's not a 12-month thing. It's not. It's a movement, man.
It's a movement. You're going straight into,
and we want to help and move the youth and young adults in the right direction and the path that they want to at least start with in a positive, legal, and ethical manner. So that's the movement. So that's why I'm glad you hit me up, because I want you to be a part of this movement. And if anything we can do to help, man, we have a Helping Hand scholarship. But before we get into that, man, let's talk about this. This is why you're here. One, I missed you, and I love seeing you, of course. Yeah. But to be on here, we want to talk about what you're doing now as far as your passion in this business that you're starting.
So for me, passion and being able to work hard is one of the things that I've learned from not only just you coaching me, but just in general in life. If you want something, you got to go out and get it. And so I ended up starting my own clothing business. It's majority for like fitness wear, but as the times come around and I end up creating more funds for it, it's going to go more into a fitness section and then streetwear section. So I want to be able to have both, play with, dabble and dabble with the both of them, see what people like, see what people don't like, and then just learn how to adjust accordingly. But for me, since I was a little kid, I always loved seeing smiles on people's faces, regardless of what it was that I could do to make the next person happy. That was all I cared about. Somebody needed somebody to talk to, I was always there for everybody. It didn't matter who you were, what you looked like. None of that stuff to me really mattered. I just wanted to make sure that you always had somebody to talk to. And so with that being said, and the whole baseball thing started to pan out, I needed something that I could do where I could not only just be around people, but put those smiles on people's faces, regardless of what it may be. So I started my own clothing brand. I ended up calling it Ace of Hearts Fitness for right now until I get more funds to be able to go into both. Then it'll just be like AOH clothing, which is just the Ace of Hearts. The reason why I did that was because I wanted something that would be different logo wise. And so on the back of all my shirts, it's like an Ace of Hearts on it. And then the front of it, it just says AOH in a font that is different, but it's also going to pop. And so color scheme wise, I always go with colors that are different. The very first shirt that I dropped was a white t-shirt. And then in red vinyl, it says AOH on the front and then the card in the back. But that was the biggest thing for me, was just learning how to create those smiles on people and just, you know, making everybody else around me happy, because every single person that I have sold a shirt to, regardless if it was online where I've had a couple people order online, or, you know, meeting the person and giving them like their product, every single time that I've seen somebody open it, there's always a fat smile on their face, and they're just cheesing, and they're just sitting there and they're like, dude, this is like super nice. Like the quality on it's super nice. And that's the biggest thing for me, is quality too. I'd rather have quality products over quantity.
Absolutely.
Because I could go out of my way and buy, like, for instance, I could buy like 200 Hanes t-shirts, and they're probably like $2, $3 pop, depending on where you get them from. And I could, you know, spend the $300 on those and then just be sitting on them. Or I could go out and spend, you know, $7 on a t-shirt, and that's how, and then having that and just being able to have a quality product. So then when I sell it to somebody and seeing them, like, they're like, damn, like, you know, this is quality, like, you know, this is something that I can really like be able to wear out and not have to worry about it, you know, ripping or having the pieces of vinyl come off. So, I mean, that's just the biggest thing for me, is just always making sure that people are always happy around me regardless.
That's, man, dude, that's awesome. And you brought me a shirt today and it made me smile. So, you know, your campaign behind that is working. Yeah. You know, I'm a product of it. You hooked me up with the shirt today, and I appreciate you, man. I'll be rocking that. I hooked you up with one of our t-shirts, and some gear to go home with. But I love your logo. I love the font. I love how you say it's quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. So you got that business mindset where you're gonna sell shirts, but you want to sell good stuff.
Exactly.
You know, you could go get 300 freaking shirts and sell them for, you know, $20 each and make that profit. But like you said, man, are they gonna come back and buy another shirt?
Exactly.
Probably not, because that shirt's gonna be ripping, wash it a couple times, gonna be, you know, getting all messed up and worn out. So man, your business mindset is there. How long have you been thinking about like entrepreneurship and starting your own business? Because you're 19 years old, man, or 20. You're 20 years old. Yeah.
No, you're good.
But still, 19, 20 is like, at like 19, 20, man, I wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't thinking about starting my own business, man. I just love it. I love hearing these stories.
So for me, once I got done with playing ball, I kind of sat there and thought to myself, you know, what can I do to make a difference? What can I do to make a change on people? And the biggest thing that stuck with me over and over and over for, like, I want to say, so I started it about a month and a half ago. And like actually like put like my investment into it and got the products, made them out, dispatched them, sold them. But it was about right when I came to the realization that maybe baseball wouldn't be the thing. And I realized that, you know, like the gym is somewhere that I'm always at. I go there 6 days a week. So it was just kind of, you know, how can I make a difference in my community with that? And so I want to say that was probably like 4 or 5 months ago. But for me, I'm one of those people that it's like, you know what, if I want to get something done, I will find ways to get it done. And so I saved up a couple $100. For me to end up starting my business, it was about $500 for the heat press and the vinyl cutter. And then you got to take into consideration of what shirts you're buying, how many you're buying, and what kind of vinyl you want to use, because I'm not even gonna lie, there's some cheap vinyl. I bought some off Amazon. Yeah. And you use the vinyl cutter to cut it, and then you go peel it, and the whole thing comes off, and then you're just sitting there and you're like, you know what? I just wasted like $10 on it, but that's because you spent $10 on a product that maybe has like 3-4 stars. what are you expecting to get off of it? You know
Right,
what I mean?
exactly.
So if you want to get something that's more quality, you're going to have to go out of your way to spend more money on it. And then you're going to see the quality of it, and you're going to be like, why would I go back and spend less money on a product when if I spend the extra, $5-10 on something, I get something that's higher quality and a lot better, and it's actually going to stay on.
Right. And you're learning all this on your own, right?
Exactly.
See, so you're going to have to, like you said earlier, you made an example of you live and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with business, man. I mean, you try stuff out and it doesn't work. Yeah, it's going to spend some money on it, waste some money on it, lose some money on it. But you got to, what is it? Lose money to make money.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to have to lose some to make money, man. Unfortunately, but that's just how you learn the business and what you like and what your customers like. But you'll get there, man.
Exactly.
You'll get there. You're in the right. I mean, your mindset is just right. I mean, I love it. So you got your own heat press.
Mm-hmm.
You got your own vinyl cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a website or anything to plug in, or
I do not right
how can
now.
they hit you up? How can they buy your product?
So I have a page on Instagram called AOH_fitness, and that's where you can purchase them. I do Cash App, and Venmo for right now until, I'm waiting right now until business starts going and I start making like a good amount of money to be able to have like their own website, because with majority of those websites, you got to pay, I think it's like $20 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like a lot. But you think about it, if I'm only having 4 or 5 drops a year on clothing, what am I going to do with the rest of that time when I'm not having those drops? Like, I don't want to, take off my website and then make another website and then add everything else to it.
Another smart business move, man.
Exactly.
So
that's the biggest thing for me right now, is just being able to do all these sales through myself personally. And with the way how technology is right now, everybody has Cash App, everybody has Venmo.
Absolutely. It makes it a lot easier.
Everybody has cash too. So it's like, if there were people out of the state that, wanted to buy my product, for me, I just got to get one of those little envelopes from like the UPS store, and shipping's only like $7.
Right. So you add that to the sale.
Exactly. And then so for me, like, for instance, I sold 2 T-shirts to one of my friends that I ended up giving him a sponsorship for me to be able to like rock my gear and stuff. And I told him that all he has to do is just pay for how much it costs for me to make the product and then pay for shipping. And I was like, you pay for those, and all I want you to do is just rep what I give to you. And then, that's that. Further down the road, I'm going to end up giving him a bigger sponsorship to where once I get the website made, every sale that he gets for me, I'm going to give him like a little code to put in, and he's going to be getting a percentage of that order.
Nice.
So with that, I mean, it's just adding the shipping on top. I just give them a total on what they have to Venmo me. And it's like Venmo only takes out like 25, 30, 40 cents, something like that. So it's like I'm not tripping about the 40 cents. If I have to, take some of that out of my own profit. Absolutely. I could care less about it because I'm still making the sale and still making the customer happy. So, I mean, that's just kind of my biggest thing. Kind of like adding to the live and learn thing. And the investments. So with the investments and stuff, the biggest thing that I've ever heard in my life is that if you want to be successful, you have to invest in yourself. And with investing in yourself, you're going to lose money. But at the end of the day, at least you could sit there and let's say it doesn't work out. You could at least sit there a couple years down the road and be like, you know what? At least I gave it everything I had, and I invested all of my money, all my time, all that good stuff into it. And you know what? It just didn't work out. And then you just got to pick yourself up, move to the next thing, and you just got to keep going from there.
Right. And now that I'm taking a pause, the actual phrase is you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
But you got to lose money sometimes too.
Exactly.
You got to be willing to take that leap. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, is that they let fear stop them. Oh man, I don't want this. I only have $100. Man, I can spend it on this, or I can go out and have fun, or go, but no, if you're serious about your craft and your business, exactly, that $100, you're going to throw it back in there and make it later, Exactly. But it's that sacrifice, that initial sacrifice to spend that money to make money. Exactly. Yeah. Well, man, look, your business sense is very impressive, dude. And I might hit you up on some things because we know we're trying to make our own gear too for our nonprofit. Like I was telling you before you got here, we have a little Cricut. Looking into a heat press to invest in a heat press because it's important, man. I mean, we do have our own gear and we don't really sell it, right? We did sell it at some point, but now we're just kind of like people like you giving them out, or to the youth that came to the golf mentorship program. We gave them stuff. So, but at the same time, it's an investment because it's advertisement.
Exactly.
Right? They wear it out. People see, oh, what's United Youth Movement? Oh, man, check them out. Go to their website. Check them out on social media. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that.
Exactly.
So that's all part of it too. But, and we are a nonprofit. So, but we have a budget too. You have to run a nonprofit as a business, right? You have to have money in there to do the things that you want to do.
Exactly.
There's still bills that need to be paid. You know, I still have a budget that I have to work with. I have a website. I have insurance that I have to pay for because we're out and about with youth. So, you know, liability stuff. So we have to pay for insurance. You know, just all those little bills that you have to have in order to run any type of business. So people think, oh, it's a nonprofit, man. You get everything for free. No,
it's still stuff that you gotta put into it. Like you just gotta. That's how it is with everything, though. You always gotta put money into something, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, dude. I'm very proud of you, Alex. Very proud of you, man. Always had a special place in my heart for you, anyway. Just because you were always a good kid, always respectful when you came over here. Treated my son with, you know, you love my son like a brother, man. You guys were tight for a long time, and just to see you go and do what you do, man, I'm proud of you, man. Super proud of you. Keep working. I'm gonna offer you this, that we're here for you, man. Our organization, United Youth Movement. Anything we can do to help you, man, let us know. Like I said, one thing that probably right off the bat that you'd be able to benefit from is our Helping Hands scholarship program. Right now, Give Local 2021 is going. It's a like a campaign for fundraising within Thurston County, Lewis County, and Mason County. But South Puget Sound Community Foundation of South Puget Sound Community Foundation. They run it, and they have I'll send you the link after this so you could check it out. Maybe share it with people. The money that we get for donations, a lot of that money we're gonna use for the scholarship program.
Okay.
So people donate to our organization. It goes through them. We're a 501c3, so everything's tax deductible. Yeah. People that donate money, they could write it off. But sometimes a lot of people feel more comfortable when they go through a bigger foundation. So, which is cool with me. You know, at the end of the day, the money's gonna come and into our fund and then into the kids that we help, the youth and young adults that we help, right, into the program. So, but yeah, the majority of the money that we get, we're trying to raise $5,000, and hopefully, I'm thinking either half or around 3,000 is going to go into the scholarship pot, and then the rest will go in our general fund. But I'll let you know, man, when the application process comes up.
Okay.
And I'll definitely encourage you to apply for that, man, because this is exactly why we started this Helping Hand Scholarship. Is for people like you, man.
Exactly.
I mean, you remember TJ Page?
Yeah.
So he recently was a recipient. We gave him $750. He started his own LLC with that. He's in the move. He's on the move, man. He's in real estate. He's doing big things. And then we also helped out two young high school students who are in the Running Start program, to help them with the cost of their labs and their books, because that doesn't come. The school takes care of the tuition, but they still have to pay. The books
and stuff, they still got to pay for it.
Yeah, and that stuff's expensive. The gas to get to the school because there's no transportation. Also, I think parking. I'm not sure parking's free, but anyway, those are the, and it's not just them or that type of youth or young adult. We're helping. We want to just reach out and be able to help as many as we can.
For sure.
But yeah, man, thank you so much for stopping by, man. I appreciate this interview. One thing that I ask from people that come in, not the interview, but our conversation.
Yeah.
I hate calling it an interview for some reason.
Yeah.
It just feels better to say, we're just going to have a conversation, man, because that's what I want. I just want to converse with the youth and young adults.
Exactly.
I want to interview you. You know what I'm saying? I just want to talk to you and see how you are and where we can help you and, you know, where you are in life and walking in your path and stuff. And we're here to walk alongside people, not in front, not behind, but alongside, you know, if we can. But one thing I do like to ask is if you have anything to say, man, for the young people behind you, whether it be coming into high school or during high school or, you know, college, collegiate, you know, on a collegiate level or just a student athlete level or whatever, man, what kind of advice, what would you say to somebody behind, you know, coming up behind you?
The biggest thing that I would say is don't be scared to like mess up, or don't have that fear of, you know, what if this doesn't happen, or what if I don't make it? Because if you have that fear, you're going to sit there a couple years down the road, you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, why didn't I, you know, take the risk when I had the opportunity to? Because you're never going to know unless if you try. So it's like, realistically, what's the worst thing that you're going to get out of trying? Or, you know, putting forth the effort to get to where you want to go. The worst case scenario is, you know what, it doesn't work out and you can move on to the next thing. But you never know until you try it. Like, for me, I didn't know that I was going to be making clothes. I didn't know that I was going to have my own clothing brand. I thought for me, you know, baseball was going to take me all the way. And then once baseball was over, I was going to go get a job behind a desk. It's not the case no more. So as long as you find something that you really enjoy doing and you put forth the effort and you continue to work at it until, you know, you can't anymore, then at least you can sit there and look at yourself and be like, you know what, at least I tried, or at least I gave it everything that I had to get to where I wanted to be.
Yeah, man, that's perfectly well said. Great advice. Even for me, at 45, you know, sometimes I get fearful of stuff, making a move, and I'm just like, nah, man, don't let that stop you. Like, let's go. Even for an interview for a job, you know, sometimes it's like if I want to apply for another job, but I'm comfortable where I'm at, but this is going to be something different, a learning opportunity. I'm like, let's go, let's do it, you know, but in the back of my mind, it's like, no, you're comfortable. Like, you're good where you're at right now. But that's not the way to advance in life, man. You know, you got to be an everyday learner and not let fear stop you, just like you said, man. So appreciate that. Good word of advice for the young youth and the young adults behind you. And again, man, I appreciate you, Alex, for being here. Super proud of you, man. Keep up the hard work. Keep on the grind. Get your craft down. You're going to be excellent. I love your freaking, like I said, your font that you're using, your logos. I'm excited to see where you go. And United Youth Movement is here to help you, man, any way we can.
For sure.
All right, my dude.
I appreciate getting the time and being able to be on here with you today.
All right, man. Thank you. We'll chat with you soon, my dude.
For sure. Sounds good.